Hi everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we are making these awesome vertical striped leg warmers. This is such a simple project. It is a repeat pattern and then we just have to make the top cuff and the bottom cuff. And this is using the granite stitch or the moss stitch, using just single crochets and chain ones to make this cool design. It is so simple. So I'll get into the supplies we need, answer some frequently asked questions, and then we'll get into making these. So supplies, big thank you to Red Heart Yarns for providing this yarn today. This is Red Heart Super Saver. You can use any medium sized or worsted weight yarn for this project. I'm using this acrylic worsted weight yarn Super Saver, but you can use any cotton or acrylic or wool that you would like. I'm using two colors, but you can use as many colors as you want. And the two colors I'm using, this one's called Aran and this one's called Warm Brown. And this information is in the description of this video, so you can check that out. Also, we're going to need a crochet hook. This is a G size hook, which is 4.25 millimeters, so it's a G6 hook. And this super fancy hook is from the Etsy shop, Would Be Fancy. It is hand carved crochet hook handle, ergonomic, so you can hold it, you know, like this, how I usually hold my hook, or like this, right up top there. The grooves in this hook are perfect for somebody who, you know, has arthritis or is, you know, crocheting for a really long period of time. I absolutely love this hook so much. I use it in all of my tutorials. There's left-handed hooks also. There's my set there. There are international shipping available as well. And yeah, you can check them out. The link is in the description of this video so you can get your hook. And the hook is fixed in there, so you just pick your size if you want this type of hook, which is a boy hook, or you can get a Susan Bates type of hook too. So it's very flexible on that. Also, you're going to need a scissors and a yarn needle to cut yarn and sew in some ends. So all of this information is in the description of this video. Now, as for sizing, these leg warmers will fit me. So let's measure these out. They're 30 centimeters long, and that's 12 inches. So 12 inches long, and the width, let's see here, they're 5 inches wide, so about 10 inches around, but they do stretch. So you want to make sure if your leg around, you want to measure your calf, and that's how long you want to make it, this piece. So it stretches to about 14 inches around. That's pretty wide. So, I mean, if you have a bigger calf, you can obviously just stretch your piece, make sure to fold it in once you, because we're going to be working in rows like this. And then, so once you have it all done, you can stretch it out as wide as you want it, and then measure it and make sure that that is the measurement of your calf. Okay, and these instructions are in the notes section of the pattern, which the pattern you'll get as a free pattern on my website, YARNutopia.com. So make sure you check the description of this video and you'll see the link to the pattern. You can get it right on my website, but I also do sell a PDF form where you print it off and have the physical pattern from my Etsy. So make sure you check that out as well. You can purchase that pattern and have it forever. And you don't have to go back to the website to check it out. So you can see here, there's the seam in the back. We make one rectangular piece and then sew it up the back and then make the top cuff and the bottom cuff. So big thank you to Red Heart Yarns for this yarn. Big thank you to my dad back there for filming and editing this tutorial. Big thank you to you for watching. Those are all the instructions and all the supplies. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment or check out the pattern on my website, YARNutopia.com. Check me out on Facebook as well, and Instagram and Snapchat. I'm YARNutopia on Snapchat, you guys, so follow me there. All right, let's get started and make these vertical striped leg warmers. Alright, let's start out. I'm using Aran first, so we are going to make a slip knot. Put your short end over your long end, then fold this down, and then pull your long end through and pull tight, and there's your slip knot. Insert your hook, and we can start. So let's start out by chaining 50, or any even number. Okay, so any even number that you want the length of your leg warmer to be, just yarn over and pull through. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, here's 4, 5. I won't make you watch me chain 50. So just chain 50 and we'll go on to row 1. Once you have 50 chains, this is what your work should look like. This will be the length of your leg warmer, okay? And what we're going to do now is, well, you can chain as many as you need to make it as long as you want, but I just chained 50. You can chain any even number, like I said. So now in the 4th chain from the hook, we are going to single crochet. So the loop on the hook isn't a chain, it doesn't count as anything. So count 1, 2, 3, and 4. This 4th chain right here, we are going to single crochet in there. And what I like to do is chain in the back ridges here. So in the back ridge, I just turn the chain toward me and work in these back ridges. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Into this chain right here we go. Then we yarn over and pull through that chain. So there's 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both of those loops, and that's a single crochet. Now we are going to chain 1, so yarn over, pull through, and we're going to skip the next chain, and we're going to single crochet into the next. So skip this one and go into this next one here, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. There's a single crochet. So we're going to do that repeat all the way across. So chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next, and do that all the way across. At the end of this row, you will finish with a single crochet into the very last stitch. So I'll do that and then I'll meet you up for row 2. Alright, just finishing this row, we're going to single crochet into that last chain like I had said. And now going on to row 2, we are going to chain 2. So 1 and 2, turn our work around, okay? And now we're going to be working into the chain 1 spaces, okay? So not in the actual stitches, just in the chain 1 spaces. So single crochet in this very first chain 1 space, then chain 1, and then hop to the next chain 1 space and single crochet in there. And do that all the way across. Just chain 1, go into the next chain 1 space and single crochet. Then chain 1, skip the stitch, go into the chain 1 space right after it, and single crochet. And just do that all the way across. Super simple. So I'm going to do that all the way across for row 2. And then we're going to chain 2 and turn our work just like we started row 2. We're going to do that, turn our work, and do the same exact thing. Basically just repeating row 2. Okay? And you know what? I'm going to get to the very end of this row, and I think I'll just come back on screen so you can see how to end row 2, and then we'll go on to row 3, but it's a repeat. So I'll meet you up at the end of this row. Alright, so finishing row 2, we want to single crochet in this last chain space. I know there's no stitch right here. It looks like a chain, or chain 4 from the beginning here. We're just going to go into that space right after this single crochet, and we're going to single crochet in there. So you should have 24 single crochets. I think that's for every row you should have 24 single crochets. So now chain 2. Turn your work around, so we're repeating row 2 now and going into this first single crochet, or I'm sorry, this first chain 1 space. Skip the first single crochet there. So go into the chain 1 space here and make a single crochet. Then chain 1, skip this stitch, go into the next chain 1 space and single crochet in there. And just continue repeating row 2. Now when you get to the very end of this row, I'm on row 3 right now. When you get to the end of row 3, right after this single crochet right here, there is a space right here. Okay, you want to single crochet in there. That's where that chain 2 is, right there. Right before that chain 2, you do want to put a single crochet in there. You should always count your stitches, making sure you have 24 single crochets for each row. Then chain up 2, turn your work around, and work the same granite stitch just like this. Okay, so I'm gonna do that after row 4. So I'm on row 3 right now, and I'm gonna do row 4 the same way. After row 4, I am going to change color. So I will show you how to change color and go on to a new color. But then that's the repeat, then that's what we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna meet you up. I'm gonna do this for row 3 and 4. And once I finish row 4, I'll come back on screen and we can go on to changing color and going on to row 5 together. Alright, when you're finishing row 4 here, here's 1, 2, 3, and I'm on row 4, we have to single crochet into right before this chain 2 space here, right after this last single crochet. So make sure you chain 1 and then single crochet into there, but we're actually going to change color. So I'm going to insert my hook into that space right there, right after this single crochet, going in there, yarning over and pulling through. But I'm going to keep these 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to bring this forward, kind of pinch it just like this. And I need to grab my other color. And I didn't prepare for that. There we go. I didn't grab my other color in time here. Let me untangle some yarn. Sorry guys. Just gonna pull out here. Okay, so hook that on your hook like that. And then pull it through those 2 loops. And now we've changed color completely. You can leave this old color attached for your whole project because we are going to be changing back to this color. Unless you're changing color more than just the 2 colors. If you have like 3, 4, 5 different colors, then you can cut this. But I'm going to leave it attached because I'm only using these 2 colors. So what I'm going to do is chain 2, 1, 2, turn my work around, and we are going to just continue with our stitches just the same way with the pattern. Super simple. And we're going to do that every 4 rounds. We are changing color just like that. So after, now this is row 5, so 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all going to be this warm brown color. Then I'm going to switch back to this color, and what I'm actually going to do is just take this loop and kind of like have a strand of it and then fold it in half and then attach this here. So I'm not going to show you that because, I mean, you can always cut your yarn and then reattach just like how I showed you with the new color. But I'm just going to leave it attached because we end on the same side every time. With changing color. We're going to change color on this side every time. There's going to be 4 rows of each color, and then before we change color again. Okay, so I'm just going to continue with the pattern, just doing this moss stitch. I interchange granite stitch, moss stitch, same thing. So I'm going to do this until, let's see here, row 40. Row 40 is going to, there's going to be 10 sections of these 4 rows. So 10 sections of the Aran, then, I'm sorry, not 10 sections of the Aran. 4 rows of Aran and 4 rows of warm brown 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So there's going to be 10 sections of these. So you can just continue working, and then once I hit row 40 and finish row 40, I'll show you what to do next. Alright, welcome back. So I am finishing row 40 right now. I'm going to single crochet in this last stitch. I'm going to fasten off after this very last stitch, so I'm not even going to change color. So I'm just going to finish off this single crochet. And when you're finishing off, you want to cut a long strand for sewing. You want to end on your second color, by the way. So I ended on warm brown. I am going to cut this yarn quite long to sew this closed. And as you can see here, oh, actually we're going to chain 1, sorry. Chain 1 and pull it all the way through. I already cut my yarn, but pull that long strand through and that is fastened off. So now I want to show you this side here. So you can sew in the ends as you go, which I highly recommend, but I wanted to show you for video purposes here. These are all your ends, okay? So we changed color after every 4th row, okay, right here, and it all changed on the same side here. I have to trim this one now because we're not using that anymore. So now what I'm going to do, and as I told you earlier, like I was going to change color and kind of just like loop this around to the next one and then loop it. You could just carry it up just like really tightly, like this color you could have carried up to the side, but then you'd have this loop like attached. I don't know how to really explain it, but you know, you get what I mean. Like right here you would have this here, and even though later on we are going to crochet around this, you'll see this line underneath your stitches. So I just want to cut these longer and then sew them into my actual work. So that is creator's choice. You can do whatever you want. I know a lot of you in like making the mermaid tail blanket like trailed up the yarn, and that's totally fine. So you didn't have to sew in ends. But I'm just going to sew in these ends. So you can see I cut all that yarn. And now what I'm going to do is take the two colors that are matched up here, like this. You can see the two colors matched up when I changed the color. I'm going to take each one and tie them in a knot. So I'm just going to once. You could do once or twice. I'm just going to do once. Okay, so just like that. Tying them all. And you can do more sections if your leg is wider or smaller. You can do less sections or more sections, okay? But just do in increments of 4 rows, and this color is going to be next to this color. So you want to make sure that this color and this color are not the same. So you start with one of the colors and end with the other color. So just make sure you do that. So you can do as many rows as you need to on the leg part. Just make sure that it fits around your calf, the lower part of your leg, and you should be good. So I'm just finishing tying these together. And once these are all tied together, I am going to sew in my ends, but I just realized that my needle got misplaced. I think it's in this. I got this cute little Just Stitch It license plate thing from Just Stitch It. It's super cute. It holds all my hooks right now. But in the bottom of this, I have a needle, a few needles. Sorry about that. So now to sew in ends, a lot of you have asked me how do I sew in my ends. I just take my yarn needle and I yarn my needle just like that, so it's always guaranteed to yarn your needle. And then I just go underneath the stitches just like this, just like 4 or 5 of them, and then I pull and then I come back through just like that and pull. And then I'll just cut any extra, make sure I stretch it out so that it is completely hidden and you can't even tell. Fabulous! So I'm going to do that with each color. So make sure though that you sew in the corresponding color. Obviously you don't want to sew in this warm brown into the Aran. So you want to come up to this section right here and sew this same color, corresponding color with the corresponding color. Okay, so I'm going to sew in all of these ends. Once my ends are all sewn together and into this piece, I'll come back on camera and we'll... Alright, so I just sewed in the rest of my ends here. So this is what your piece should look like, just a big rectangle. So right now we are going to attach these two sides along this edge, okay, with this long tail that we we cut for sewing. So I'm going to attach this to the needle, and we're just going to easily whip stitch this. So what we want to do is make sure, so this is going to be the outside, that's going to show on the outside, and then we're going to fold this in half so that the outside and the outside are facing each other, because then we'll just put this right side out. We're just going to sew it inside out right now. And I'm just going to whip stitch this. So if you know how to whip stitch, you can just fast forward, but a whip stitch is going all the time from one side to the other side. Okay? And we're just going through both of the layers and just pull. Then again through this side to the other side. And always just line up your stitches and go through every single stitch. And we're always going through the same side. So going through this side, through to this side, just like that. And just pull and keep doing that. And do that all the way across. And that's it. So I'll do that and then I'll meet you up. I'll show you how to fasten that off. And then we'll be able to make the top cuff and the bottom cuff. Alright, so once you get all the way to the end, so I just sewed up this whole seam right here. So we are going to fasten this off. So we're going to go around these stitches just like we've been doing. I'm going to keep my finger in this loop. And then I'm going to come back through this loop. And then pull it tight. And that fastens it off. And you can do that once or twice. I'll do that again. So keep your finger in the loop. And then you can go back this way or the other way. And then just pull it through and pull tight. Then we're going to sew this end in to hide it underneath our stitches. Just like I showed you earlier how to sew in your ends. Then what we're going to do is put this piece inside, or right side out, because it's inside out right now. So we chop this. Chop. So we're going to make this right side out now. So I'm just flipping it. Okay. And as you can see, the seam is right there. You can't really tell though. It looks really good. So that's going to be the back of our piece. Okay, so I'm going to turn this way and we're going to work around this rim and then we're going to work around this rim. So let's do the top rim first. So I'm just going to attach my yarn to really anywhere where my hook fits, so basically right there. And we're going to use this Aran color. You can use any color you want. And I'm going to hook this on and pull it through. Then we're just going to do a simple rim here. This is the top rim, so we're just going to chain one. And we're going to single crochet into that same spot. You know how to single crochet because we did this through the whole pattern so far. And basically wherever your hook fits is where you should single crochet. Now I do want to have 42 single crochets around evenly, single crochets, 42 of them, but because that's how much I have on my other one, which you have to make 2 of these to make a set, a pair. But if you need more or less, obviously just have as many as you need. Just make sure that you know how many is on one pair so that the other pair has the same amount, because you don't want one having, 30 stitches around and then the other one having like 40, because then one could be bigger than the other. So you want to make sure that this leg warmer matches the other leg warmer. So on my other leg warmer I have 42 stitches around this rim, so I'm going to do 42 stitches around on this. And if I end up with less or more, I'm just going to take it apart and recount and replace my stitches. So just cleaning up this edge is just basically the goal for this round, and as you can see it cleans it up pretty nicely. So I'm going to do that all the way around and then I'll meet you up when I am ready to fasten this side off and we can go on to the bottom. Alright, once you have single crocheted around this whole piece, we are going to fasten off. So let's slip stitch to this first single crochet right here. And I have 42 stitches, by the way. So slip stitch, so yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook. And then to fasten off, we're just going to chain one and cut this yarn, and then I'll sew that in later. Pull that through that chain one and pull tight. So I'll sew that in later, just like I showed you how to sew in your ends. So now let's flip this around. So we're going to work around this edge here. And again, same color and everything. And I'm going to attach really, again, wherever my hook fits. I'm going to go right here. And then hook this on and pull it through. And now this bottom rim is going to be a little bit different. We're going to chain up 2, but that does not count as anything. Okay, so we're going to double crochet in that same spot. So yarn over, go into that same spot, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. That is a double crochet. And we are going to double crochet 36 stitches. Now that's regardless if you made your piece bigger or smaller. You're going to double crochet 36 stitches so that this gets pretty tight around your ankle, and it's not too tight, but it does, because it does stretch, but it's tight enough around your ankle that it won't be bunchy or like too wide and slip off your foot. So even though we have 40 rows of these granite stitches, we are going to skip some rows and make sure we have 36 stitches around. So if you end up with more or less, just take it apart and make sure you recount and space them out accordingly. So I'm going to do that all the way around, make sure I have my 36 stitches, and then once I'm finished with this round, I'll come back. We'll go on to round 2. Alright, when you have your 36 stitches around here, we're going to go into the very first double crochet, so not this chain up 2 here. Go into the double crochet stitch and then yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. And now we can go on to round 2. Let's just chain 1 and kind of loosely. So I kind of pull this up and then chain. Okay? And we are going to double crochet these 2 together, but we're going to do it in a front post design. So let's yarn over, go on this side of the stitch. You can go around the chain 2 here as well, and then go around this stitch as well. So just like that. So I went from around the post, around the 2 stitches, first 2 stitches here. We're decreasing. Yarn over, pull through. Okay? So we just made these 2 posts into 1 stitch. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And since that's the back of the leg, you won't see that stitch very well, and you can't really even tell about that one. So now we're going to hop to this next post here. We're going to alternate the 2 stitches. So yarn over, go behind this. We're going to do a back post. So go behind the post, around it like this, back to the back like that. Then yarn over and pull it through, just like that. Then yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2, just like that. So that's a back post double crochet. Now we're going to alternate. We're going to go back to the front post double crochet, but we're just going to do it on this 1 stitch. So yarn over, go into the front around the post, just like this. Then yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And that's a front post double crochet. So these 2 stitches right here are what we are going to alternate around this piece. So do a back post double crochet on the next stitch, and then a front post double crochet on the next stitch. And that creates this ribbed effect. Now I'm going to do that for, let's see here, 16 stitches, and then I'm going to do another one of these decreases that's going to be a front post stitch. So on the opposite side, and really you can do it anywhere, it doesn't really matter where you're going to do it because we're only decreasing the 2 stitches and it's only this round. So you can decrease it anywhere. And what we're going to do is it's going to be one of the front post stitches. So I could even do it right now. So these 2 stitches right here, just yarn over, go from the front around both of them, and then make your front post double crochet stitch. We just decreased those 2 to 1. And then just continue with the rest of the pattern. And you can really put your second one anywhere on this round. It does not really matter. So that was, next one was a back post double crochet, and then just continue with your front post, back post. Just decrease 2 stitches on this round, and you'll have 34 stitches at the end of this round. And then after this round, I'll continue, I'll come back on screen and we'll go on to our last round, which is round 3. Alright, I finished alternating the 2 stitches, front post and back post double crochets around. I have 34 stitches now, and you can kind of see it coming inward a little bit. So that'll fit around my ankle. So now we're just going to slip stitch to the first front post double crochet stitch right here. Go in, yarn over, pull through and through. And if you want to fasten off here, you can, but I'm going to do one more round. So I'm going to chain 1, yarn over. We're just going to go around this stitch right here. We're going to front post double crochet on the front post double crochets. And we are going to back post double crochet on the back post double crochets. So just alternate these 2 stitches around. Again, same amount of stitches, 34 stitches around, and just alternating. And this is the last round we're going to do. So after this round, I will show you how to fasten off, and then we'll be done with one leg warmer. You'll just have to make one more after this. Alright, I just finished round 3, just alternated those 2 stitches, so now I'm going into the very first stitch right here, and I'm going to slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through, and then chain 1, and cut your yarn, and then pull that through and pull tight. And then you just grab your yarn needle right away and sew in this end. And sew in any other ends that you might have that are loose so that you can hide them all. And that's it. So all you have to do is just rewind this and make another one exactly the same, and you'll have a pair of leg warmers. So there it is. Thank you so much for watching and learning how to make these leg warmers. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Big thank you to Red Heart Yarns for providing this yarn today, and big thank you to my dad back there for filming, editing, and posting this tutorial up on YouTube for everyone to watch. And big thank you to you for watching. Make sure to check out all the links in the description of this video for the pattern, for these supplies, for this yarn, and for following me on social media. If you make these, I want to see A, what colors, B, the picture you used, so make sure you check out the Facebook page or the Instagram, hashtag YARNutopia, so I can see your work, and share your pictures on the Facebook wall. Alright guys, until next time, happy hooking!